Okay, I'm here with Mr. Simon Dodds, Mr. Ade Clark from the Bops, and the last time I was anywhere near this spot with these two guys was in 1980 on a stage just behind us here in what was St Albans College of Further Education. It was Rag Week, it was a Waldo's Records night, and also on the bill was Mr. Clive Pigg, Whirlwind. Do you guys remember that night?
The Bodies played.
Bodies?
No, was that up? No, I can't remember that night.
I think the Bodies did play.
Yeah, definitely the Bodies, because I borrowed a lovely drummer's drum kit. He's such a nice guy.
Okay, Tony Copley?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So, going back, that was 1980. How long had you been together by then?
About a year.
About a year.
Well, a few months. Less than a year. About 1979.
As that band, about 9 months, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1979. And what were the bands then that you were listening to that inspired you to put a band together?
Well, I think we're all influenced by punk rock, really. I mean, you know, it's a really great time to be young, and I remember hearing like New Rose by the Damned, like laying in the bath one night in 1976, and after that I thought, well, yeah, it'd be nice to be in a band. You can actually be in a band these days, you're allowed to do that, and tried to take up the guitar and did that.
And I think it's probably, it was more inspiring to young people than it may have been before or since, in a way, because it's almost like a question was being asked about what side of the fence you're going to be on in this new thing.
Right.
So it's like smacked of revolution a little bit. So, you know, great appeal to teenage boys and girls. And just felt like we wanted to be a part of it in some way, really.
Excellent. I mean, for me, sort of going back, what I remember of your sound, I would have imagined maybe bands like the Buzzcocks.
The Buzzcocks were the ultimate 3-minute heroes.
Yeah.
They could deliver an enormous message. And the great thing, it didn't have to be about smash it up, smash it up. You know, there were love-related songs.
Yeah.
It was about life, and the Buzzcocks demonstrated to me the fact that music had become so stilted and stagnant.
Maybe people who were a lot younger might think back that time was all about nihilism and Mohicans, whereas in fact it was actually quite a broad church of.
It was a really broad
stuff.
church, and Mohican haircuts didn't come out until a few years after.
Absolutely,
all that, you
yeah.
know. And even in St Albans, it was a broad church here as well. You know, it's about people like Clive Pigg, T-Set, Bodies.
Yeah, I think you ended up knowing who was on which side of the fence,
Exactly,
basically.
that's true.
Yeah.
And I think the point was, okay, the nihilism part of it, right, philosophically significant, but the main point of punk rock as a musical phenomenon was a sledgehammer to smash a stagnant system and to allow anything else to come through. And that's, you know, it flowered very quickly to so many different things.
Where were you playing in St Albans? What were the venues, other than the FE College?
I think our first gig was in the back room of the Goat pub. Is that right?
We did play there in 1980. We also
we did a gig at Tracy's school, because we were all at school at the time, obviously.
Bishop's Hatfield School. Yeah.
Bishop's Hatfield Girls' Grammar.
Hatfield Girls' Grammar, the legendary.
The centre.
The T-shirts are very collectible. And Downs Farm. I mean, the great thing was that the small venues could really matter.
Yeah.
Also parties. We played gigs at parties.
That was the other thing as well. It was a scene. It was literally an alternative scene.
Yeah.
You know, so the point is you could take your music anywhere. You know, it didn't have to be about. We're not talking Stadium Rocket. You know what I mean?
And I think, did you play Lourdes Hall in Harpenden, or am I imagining that?
I think we did.
And as far as the local scene is concerned, what other bands around were you sort of listening to? Who were you particularly keen on?
Well, the T-Set were quite, you know, coming from sort of arty angle. There's so many angles to punk, but they were quite cool, really. The T-Set, you know, Bodies. I thought in some ways, almost sort of invented. It's very, very gothic. Some of their stuff, and that intrigued me quite a lot as well.
I really like the Toys.
Yeah, Toys were fantastic.
Our schoolmates really, and they put out a couple of records out on their own, and they were great tunes, and
lyrically clever, but without being pretentious as well.
And I loved Clive Pig. I loved Happy Birthday 16, Happy Birthday 16. Pretty sort of seminal record when he was 16, and that was a great tune, and he was a lovely man, and his stuff was interesting, you know, always. Again, not punk, but that was just one of the things that was happening at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, at that time there was the FE College here, 100 yards up the road we had the Art College, both great places to be able to play, but also places where bands were forming, people were meeting each other, talking about other bands. Do you think that was a part of why it was a really good city for bands to exist in?
I think it certainly helped. I mean, but in reality, it wasn't that simple. It was a massive great blend. It was a really big, broad church, but it certainly did contribute an awful lot. A lot of the brave decisions were taken amongst those kind of environments.
Yeah.
So definitely. Yeah.